Hello, sunshines! So hopefully you watched my winter skin tutorial last week and you and your skin are at peace and things are just in a really good place right now. And if you haven't watched it, check it out. I'll link it down below in the description. But sometimes, even if your skin seems to be behaving during the winter months, we could still use a little assist in getting that radiant, glowy complexion that just seems to naturally occur during the summertime. So I'm going to show you my step-by-step wintertime complexion routine for looking like a tropical peach, even if you're hitting the slopes. Okay, I'm not hitting the slopes because it really doesn't snow that much around here, and neon skis would probably be a medical disaster for more than one person. But if I was hitting the slopes, or the ground, or buildings, or passerby, I would look absolutely radiant while doing it. Okay, so I know I'm beating a dead horse with the skincare thing, but it's super important. So while I won't go into detail here, let's just say that you should be using a really hydrating moisturizer and at least an SPF of 30 before you start your makeup. Okay, that is all. So the first thing I like to do is use a really glowy, dewy, highlighty, that's not a word, makeup primer. My go-to is the Becca Backlight priming filter. It gives your skin a really beautiful lit from within kind of look without being super shiny. I absolutely love this stuff. As you can see, mine's almost empty. So I'm just gonna apply this all over and then we can move on to foundation. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Loreal True Match Lumi foundation. This is by far my favorite drugstore foundation and it gives a really pretty dewy finish and it has pretty good coverage. So today I actually want to go with a pretty sheer application because I want my primer to peek through, and too much product buildup on dry skin is gonna give you some undesired texture. So I'm actually just gonna take a little bit on clean fingers and gently tap the foundation into my skin, concentrating in the center and working my way out. Okay, now if this is not enough coverage in some areas, you can take a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna use my go-to, which is the Nars Radient Creamy Concealer, and just do a couple of dots under my eyes and on any little blemishes that I feel might need some extra coverage. And then you're just gonna blend it out with a damp beauty blender. Okay, now I want to add a little dimension into my face, so I'm going to take some cream contour, and I'm using one of the shades from the Anastasia cream contour kit in medium, and I'm going to use a little stippling brush, and I'm just going to gently buff upwards along the hollows of my cheeks for a lifted, sculpted look. Now, depending on your face shape, you can also apply a little bit along your hairline and your jawline as well. Now, if you're going to contour your nose with this, wait until you have just a tiny little bit of product left on your brush at the end, and then you can just pinch the tip of your brush so that way you get a more concentrated, specific application, and most importantly, make sure that you use a very, very light hand. Using too much product through here is going to look muddy. So then I'm just gonna tap a little cream blush along the tops of my cheekbones. You want to use this very sparingly to get more of a sheer application. Since I'm not really using any powder products for this look, I want to be careful not to build up too much cream product on my face and wind up with a greasy, slippery mess. So then I'm going to take just a very tiny amount of cream highlighter. This is Becca's Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. And I'm just going to tap a little bit on the tops of my cheekbones, going around my orbital bone up to the side of my forehead. And you can put a tiny little bit on the center of your nose and on your Cupid's bow. So now I'm going to take a little setting powder and strategically set certain areas on my face. I'm going to hit my forehead and the sides of my nose. Mattifying the side of your nose is going to give you a natural contour without even having to add any color. And then I'm going to get under my cheekbones where I've contoured and on my chin as well. And then I'm going to leave the rest of my face dewy. Now, you can use a little setting spray if you're worried about your makeup staying power. And I know that I jokingly use like half a bottle. Maybe sometimes I do that. But 2 sprays in a crisscross are really all you need to set your makeup. And you're good to go. So now you are glowing and dewy and ready to roll. So, like this video if you found it helpful, and if it was your first time here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. We talk about makeup tips and tricks, and some occasional nonsense, but what we don't do is take ourselves too seriously.